Hi guys! Today we will be discussing neonicotinoids and their contribution to environmental pollution. Neonicotinoids are a class of systematic insecticides that are widely used in vet medicine, urban landscaping, and agricultural systems for crop protection. They have become very popular for pest control due to their high toxicity to invertebrates, easy use, long persistence, and systematic nature, which ensures they spread to all parts of a target crop. The most common application methods for these products are foliar sprays to above ground plants, as well as root drenches to soil and trunk injections. There are currently 7 commercial compounds used globally, which are classified as neonicotinoids as written below. As the name suggests, neonicotinoids have a similar chemical structure to nicotine. These compounds act on an insect's nervous system by targeting the nicotinic acetylcholine receptor. This receptor plays a key role in nerve signaling, so once inhibited, the nervous system is unable to function properly and eventually shuts down. Neonicotinoids are water-soluble compounds with small molecules that circulate throughout plant tissues when taken up by roots, providing a period of protection against sap-feeding insects. What distinguishes them from other insecticides is their high toxicity to many classes of insects, but somewhat low toxicity to other organisms. These compounds are highly persistent and have half-lives up to 1,000 days, and they are also easily adsorbed to soil particles. Due to its chemical properties, these compounds can easily persist and accumulate in the environment. This can lead to the contamination of waterways, soils, sediments, and vegetation. There is also growing concern of the effects these compounds have on non-target organisms, especially pollinators such as bees.
Neonicotinoids have been detected in our waterways and soil because of how soluble they are. They enter our waterways and environment through the following applications and pathways. Firstly, in agricultural fields, the neonicotinoid sprays and dust from the seed applications can travel via water and wind through drainage channels. Neonicotinoids used on farms can leach into the environment through improper operations, filling sprayers, cleaning spraying equipment, and broken sprayers. These are undertaken in locations that drain directly into sewage, septic tanks, and surface waters. Pesticide use is also prevalent in urban areas and follows a similar pathway as neonicotinoid use on farms. Fourthly, neonicotinoids are applied on lawns, streets, and road embankments and can run off during rain events into sewage, wastewater treatment plants, and into groundwater. New Zealand has 5 approved neonicotinoids as listed. These are included in 79 substances, including plant protection products such as sprays and seed coatings, timber treatments and wood preservatives, veterinary medicines such as flea and lice treatments, and pest control products such as ant and fly bait.
Imidacloprid is one of the most popular compounds used in plant protection insecticides across the world. It was launched in 1991 by Bayer Crop Science and was the first insecticide commercially sold worldwide. It quickly became popular due to its success in protecting over 140 crops from pest insects. In 2013, the European Commission temporarily banned the use of 3 neonicotinoids, including imidacloprid, due to its increasing concern in declining pollinator species around application areas. Since 2018, decisions on extending or removing the ban of the insecticide is still in review. While some countries are against its use, many find no other suitable alternatives, suggesting that although pesticide use damages pollinator populations, without it, pests will hurt the crops and the markets even more. Like all neonicotinoids, imidacloprid targets and impairs the nervous system receptors. The pesticide itself is a 9-carbon compound with a pyrrole group, imidazole group, nitrogen dioxide, and chloride group. that appears as colourless crystals or a beige powder at room temperature. The low vapour pressure and the heavy nature of the compound suggest that it is not very volatile or mobile in the air, although means of applications such as spray could increase this possibility. In water, imidacloprid tends to sink due to its density and is soluble in water rather than fat solutes due to its KOW value. This poses a risk to aquatic ecosystems if exposure or contamination occurs, particularly in deep water where heat cannot assist the breakdown of the toxin. The toxin is often sprayed directly to soil to encourage plant uptake. Sources suggest that due to its polarity and chemical groups, it binds tightly to soil and soil cations, remaining in the soil for months to years. Its solubility suggests that it can travel through the soil profile with water, so therefore can be leached under specific conditions. Upon heating, combustion in particular, the compound releases toxic chemicals such as chloride, nitrous oxide, so direct sunlight is often recommended against when storing. Comforter is a common and commercial insecticide used in New Zealand that can be found in lower concentrations in various supermarkets. It is used on grapes, lettuce, onions, and vegetable brassicas to control a variety of aphids, bugs, and thrips. The active ingredient is imidacloprid, with a concentration of 350 grams per litre in a suspended concentrate form. Many warnings and hazard classifications are noted on the higher concentration solutions, including use of PPE during handling and use, approved handlers, maximum transport quantities of 250 litres, and extra precautions when transporting over bodies of water.
The effects of neonicotinoids on humans are difficult to isolate, especially when looking at the chronic effects. However, links have been formed between neonic usage and developing symptoms. Poisoning often appears following ingestion or inhalation. Many studies reportedly found patients presenting with nausea, headaches, dizziness, disorientation, tremors, and in some situations, a loss of consciousness. Links have also been formed between neonicotinoid exposure and malformations of the developing heart and brain, as well as increased chances of autism in an unborn child. Since neonics, primarily imidacloprid, are used as flea treatments for many household pets, exposure to this pesticide is unavoidable. Poisoning effects because of ingestion, however, cannot be targeted towards neonicotinoids alone, since the accompanying solvents are known to have irritant effects. Neonicotinoids are criticized for their toxic effect on many pollinator species, such as bees. Imidacloprid is known to be one of the more toxic insecticides for non-target species. At field application concentrations, ranges of weakening effects on bees are reported, such as a decline in foraging success, larvae development, memory, hive hygiene, and increased vulnerability to disease. One study looked at the economic benefits of using neonicotinoids as insecticides versus the cost to bee colonies and the potential for declines in crop yield. Many farmers rely on bees to pollinate their crops. However, these farmers are also using neonicotinoids as insecticides. Results demonstrated that the economic justification for using neonicotinoids is dynamic and doesn't always produce financially beneficial results for farmers. While some mass flowering crops showed a decline in insect pest species, a decline in bee populations will also produce issues for farmers reliant on the services they provide. The soluble properties of neonicotinoids allow them to leach through the soil and into waterways where they accumulate. Studies have found that neonicotinoid levels detected in soils, water, and field margin crops are at concentrations that exceed the LD50 level for various beneficial invertebrate and microbial species. Whilst these pesticides noticeably harm bees, they also endanger essential organisms in waterways and soil, leading to a decline in ecosystem services that could result in severe environmental dysfunction. More studies are needed to understand the chronic effects on humans. There is a lot of difficulty in isolating neonicotinoids as the sole cause of the developed effects.
Many of the effects are because of ingestion. However, they cannot be targeted towards neonicotinoids alone, since the solvents that accompany many of these chemicals are also known to cause irritation. Although there's growing concern over the effect of these compounds on non-target organisms, there is not sufficient data to find a direct causation. For example, the decline in bee populations around the globe has been linked to the use of neonicotinoids, although it is difficult to say whether this is directly due to the use of these insecticides. Many other factors, such as parasites, pathogens, habitat loss, and climate change, contribute to the bee decline. More studies are needed in large-scale, field-based experiments to determine the real-world impacts of neonicotinoids on pollinator species. Here are some interesting sources we used for this presentation.
Thank you!